All right, hey, I just wanted to check in because I finished another book, and that is Rage by Richard Bachman slash Stephen King. Now, first off, I want to say this would not have been possible for me to read anytime soon without the help of Travis. You guys may remember him from Trav's Bookshelf. He still apparently watches some of my videos, which is very kind of him. He is no longer on YouTube anymore, but he offered to send me his copy of the Bachman books, which is really super kind. Nicest thing anybody on the internet's ever done for me. It's super unexpected, and I just wanted to say thank you to him for that. It is very, very special to me, and this is actually the exact copy he had held up in his review that I watched all those months ago. But anyways, thank you, Travis. That is very, very kind, and I will treasure this forever because of that. Now, to get to the actual meat and potatoes of this video, this was the main reason why I wanted this. And you may know Rage is out of print. It's been out of print since I think mid to late 90s, maybe mid 90s, maybe a little before that. But he didn't want it around anymore. There was a couple cases of school shootings in the 80s where they had found out that the kids enjoyed the book Rage. One of them had read it obsessively. The other one, I think it was in the guy's locker. So it just didn't sit right, I guess, with Stephen King. I personally don't like when authors pull things, even if it's for a reason like that. There's other things going on there, and I don't know if the book is necessarily the reason, but that aside, let's talk about Rage. This is about this is a little hard for me to hold up, by the way. I don't know how to present this here. Let's see, I'll just try to hold it the best I can. This is about a high school senior. His name's Charlie Decker, and he has a lot of trauma, essentially, from different incidents in his life that kind of come out throughout the course of the book. Things from an abusive relationship with his father to being humiliated at a school party, to uncomfortable sexual encounters at a young age, and it just all kind of has fucked him up over the course of his life. And it's, I think, really well done how it's all told. But one day, he carries a pipe wrench with him, and he ends up getting in an argument with his chemistry teacher and hits him in the head with the pipe wrench, and he ends up getting suspended and eventually expelled. And this takes place on the day that he gets expelled. The principal tells him the news. He argues with the principal, really just doesn't give a shit anymore, clearly out of his mind. And he goes to his locker, grabs a pistol that he has been keeping in there. It was his dad's pistol, and he's been hiding in his locker, starts a fire in his locker, and walks over to the nearest classroom, which I believe is an algebra classroom, and shoots the teacher in the head. Eventually, the fire alarm is going off because of the locker fire, and another teacher runs in to try to say, we need to evacuate. He kills that teacher too, and then has one of the students that are in that class close and lock the door. So now he has, I think it's like 25-ish kids held hostage in this classroom, and he has communications every once in a while with the principal and the counselor and eventually a police chief through their intercom system. It's like a two-way intercom system. So he's really insane. I will say that. And if he's almost not getting his way throughout the conversation, he just says, all right, I'll just kill some of these kids then. And it's almost a surefire way that he's going to end up getting what he wants that way. And most of what he wants, honestly, is just for them to leave him alone and have this giant therapy session with this classroom of students, of his fellow students. Now, the strange part of this book is that while he's randomly telling these stories kind of how he's fucked up and why he's fucked up, the class is kind of docile and is almost on his side at a certain point, which I thought was really interesting because while I don't think that that's completely unrealistic, it is a little strange how quick they were to just see their teacher die and then be okay with just sitting calmly in the class without doing anything. There is one student, Ted Jones, who wants to fight against Charlie and says we could all just rush him right now and take this out, and the class doesn't really want to. Ted Jones kind of becomes almost the antagonist in this whole story, if you count Charlie Decker as the protagonist, which you probably shouldn't. But as he's going through all of these like traumas and stuff, he has other students kind of sharing some of their stories, and it's really interesting the way that it's written. I personally really enjoyed it, and like I said, it's not completely unrealistic to me in the way that this happened. I graduated high school in 2016, so that's, oh god, that's 9 years, going on 10 years. And school shootings at that point, this is a heavier topic now. Well, this is a heavy book, I guess, but school shootings at that point had become so common in America that everybody I knew kind of just joked about it. Like, it's probably going to happen one day. It might happen to us one day. And it's one of those things that it just became kind of a joke all the time. Like, everybody was aware of it. Nobody was really scared of it as they should be. The parents are more terrified than the students, and most of the time is what I found, at least among the people that I talked to in high school. And it just wasn't treated very seriously. And I think these students knew that they weren't going to be killed throughout it because of the way that Charlie Decker was and how he was talking and how he was treating them. So they didn't have a lot to worry about for themselves necessarily. They kind of just had to sit and wait it out and see what he was going to do. And while this is happening, the police are gathering outside, the media are gathering outside, and this was written in the late 70s, where obviously there wasn't a lot of protocol for school shootings. There's definitely more protocol now that cops have for how to deal with it, but then it wasn't as common, and so it wasn't something that they needed to really worry about. So they kind of are just like hanging around outside with their eyes on the classroom, and they're not rushing the school, they're not doing anything drastic, they're just kind of chilling and trying to talk to him every once in a while. But like I said, it goes through a lot of the stories of how he was fucked up as a kid, like listening to his dad talk about how if his mom cheated on him, he would cut her nose, slit her nose up, and they got into arguments and fights, fist fights. His dad beat him as a kid. Then there's awkward encounters at parties where he gets in a fight at a party and gets beaten up, and he was forced to wear this dress suit that his mom wanted him to wear to this high school, actually it was a middle school party, I think, at that time. And it was, he just had a lot of things that really clearly fucked him up. And I think that this book is very interesting because it's not just some media influence. It's almost ironic in a way, because it's not some weird media influence that influenced him to go and do this. Yet it was more about the mental aspect of how he was treated and how mentally fucked up he really was. And that's what caused it. That being said, this book ended up being pulled because it's a media influence that possibly was going to cause more school shootings. I have very mixed opinions. I don't like when people point at media for tragedies as the cause of tragedies. It's almost never the case. Actually, it pretty much is never the case. It's always something in their head, fucked up in their head. And there's always more to the story than what the news presents anyway. So it's a really interesting book all around. Not just the story itself, but the whole lore of why the book was pulled. And yeah, I enjoyed this book a lot, actually. It was probably my favorite book I read this month. It's pretty short, only like 130 pages, at least in the Bachman book. That's what it was. The ending is a little strange. It definitely pushes the concept of the kids being on his side too far, in my opinion, because that is where it gets very unrealistic, is the end. I'm not going to spoil what happens, but just it is a classic Stephen King story where he has a great story to tell and then doesn't know how to end the story. And it's because he doesn't plot his stories out ahead of time, right? He just lets the story take him, and if the ending happens a certain way, that's how he wants it to end. So overall, I would say as long as you're not mentally deranged, I would try to get a hold of this book and try to enjoy it the best you can. It is a heavy topic for a lot of people. As I said, I grew up in an era where it was mostly joked about. School shootings they're a tragedy, of course, and people are sad about it. It's a very tragic thing. But when you're in the school systems, it's like that mindset of like, are you going to be stressed out and cry about it, or are you just, what's your other option? Like, you have to take things lightheartedly almost, even tragedy. And it's unfortunate, but that's just the era I guess I grew up in. And that's this kind of school I was in, I guess. Actually, the year after I left that school, they didn't have a school shooting, but they had a lot of threats, and they ended up adding like metal detectors, and you had to use clear backpacks and things like that. I had left the year prior, so I didn't ever have to deal with any of that part of it. But so maybe it's a little different now, and maybe it is taken a little more seriously amongst the students now. I don't know, but I thought that this book did an excellent job of explaining kind of what led to such an event like that. And yeah, I did enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. So anyways, I appreciate y'all for sticking around this long. I know that this was a bit of a darker subject on this channel, but anyways, appreciate y'all for sticking around, and thanks.